Is it true that your family didn't own a microwave until you were 15?
I didn't really think that wasn't normal, it's just how we did things. And I guess that kind of did build the foundation for me. I think about it kind of often.
Can you imagine if there was a food war between New Orleans and Lafayette?
I think New Orleans might take the cake on that one.
Do you have any dreams with cooking?
I have so many dreams. Would you like to hear about them?
Thanks for watching At Harry's. I am Harrison Fredericks. Today I am joined by Luke Guillory. He is a chef locally, but you have some really big dreams, really big aspirations for your career. Thanks for spending the morning with me and talking through your story.
Nice.
So I want to talk to you about a couple of topics that I know in Louisiana are a little, not controversial, but people get really heated about talking about food, right?
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts on that. I want to get your thoughts on culinary school. But before we get there, can you tell me a little bit about what your family dynamic was growing up?
Food growing up was a really big part of family life, and it was just seemed like the center of it, to be honest. My mom grew up cooking pretty much every night. She's taught me a lot of things, and she's kind of passed those things down to me. So it's kind of a living story almost that you get to pass down to your kids, and you get to show them the things that you know, and you can show them the things that, or I can show them the things that I know. And it's really a special connection.
Are your parents from Lafayette?
No, so my mom actually grew up in New Orleans, and my father grew up in Opelousas, Louisiana. So it's kind of a mix of things, which is interesting because my mom's real Creole. You get the good tomatoes and okra and all the good New Orleans flavors, and my father was kind of more Cajun cooking, and it's I've learned a lot from him through that, and that's really a special moment that we shared before he passed away, and I can really appreciate that, and just the things, the little things that he taught me, and it's just kind of building blocks that you can, they'll give you the foundation, and it's just, you can just kind of add on that and make it what you want after that,
So I grew up in Slidell. So
Gotcha.
I'm from, Southeast Louisiana that were Creole influenced. Spent a lot of time in New Orleans. So I'm used to the tomatoes in the gumbo. I'm used to beignets, fresh out of Cafe Du Monde, that kind of style.
I love
Coming
that.
over to Lafayette, it's a little different.
It is.
Food. But I personally love the differences and can appreciate the similarities.
They're both different in their own way, but I think there is a few connections, and it's people get heated and upset about it, and it's just food at the end of the day, do it how you like.
I think we should actually be coming together and just saying Louisiana has it the best.
I agree. Even for there to be a war between the two sides, it's it means something, it means we're the best.
Can you imagine if there was a food war between New Orleans and Lafayette?
I think New Orleans might take the cake on that one. I think New Orleans might get the dub on that side.
Is it true that your family didn't own a microwave until you were 15?
Yeah, that I think that's where this kind of started from. I remember growing up at school, we had this, it was a student of the month thing, and they give little hints and stuff. And one of the hints was this kid does not own a microwave, and everybody knew for some odd reason. Somebody came to my house and they were like, "Can I heat up some food?" And I was like, "Yeah, just throw it in the oven, throw it on a pan. I mean, it's good to go." They were like, "You don't have a microwave?" And that was a big thing in middle school. I remember that, and I didn't really think that wasn't normal. It's just how we did things, and I guess that kind of did build the foundation for me. I think about it kind of often, and it taught me the fundamentals of cooking. I mean, you had something, you were hungry, you had to feed yourself.
So it's not that you couldn't afford a microwave. It's you guys were deliberately choosing to not own one.
Yes. Leading into that, my grandfather was a chef in New Orleans. He was the chef at the Rib Room, chef at the Royal Orleans, which is now the Four Seasons. And he passed a lot of information down to my mom. And I guess that's kind of where that it all started from.
I got that question from your girlfriend Lexi because I was asking her for some, some tips or some info
Insight.
that I could talk to you about. So if that question felt random,
No,
it's because she gave it to
I
me.
think that's a great question. It's been I tell people all the time, like I didn't even know how to use a microwave until I was like in high school, and I had to heat up my lunch at school, and it's like, wait a minute, how many minutes do I put it for? I don't know how to use this.
When she
This
told me that, I was kind of stunned. I was like, I didn't think that that was even possible. But it just shows that your family is just so committed to keeping it real, keeping it authentic. Can you tell me a little bit more about sort of why that is? Like what is the purpose behind not microwaving, not taking the easy way or the quick way, but genuinely like putting love and attention into the food that you make?
and I think that's mostly it's the love and the attention into the food, and it's like I guess growing up, my mom just didn't believe in microwaves. I don't know the rhyme or reason behind it, but she she was just anti-microwave my entire childhood. And it's like just figure it out. Like she'll leave you home, she's going to work, gotta cook lunch, make it happen, you know? It's just one of those things that you just kind of learn and adapt, and it just becomes normal after a while.
Can you tell me about some of like your favorite things that you would make together?
Favorite things, she makes a really good green gumbo. It's different. It's more it's a New Orleans dish for sure. She does I think like 7 different greens, which is crazy. It takes hours to make. So you just be at home ripping greens, you know, and it's just it's nice to come together, and it's like our schedules don't really match up anymore, but we do cook together, and that's really special to me.
You work at Vestal,
I do
which
work at
is one
Vista.
of the highest rated and highest voted restaurants in Lafayette. People love this place. It has a very unique style, but it also has sort of people just love it. I don't know how else to say it. What's been your experience working at Vestal?
I personally love my job. I couldn't ask for anything better, especially in Lafayette. I think they're creative. I think they're trying to push the boundaries of Lafayette, and for people to slowly kind of ease people into the different levels of cooking, you know. And it's like maybe just try something a little different, but at the same time put something familiar in there, so you have a common ground that you can kind of fall back on. You know, it might be a little intimidating, but it's what word am I looking for? It's familiar at the same time. And they've taught me a lot, man. I mean, the chef there, Chef Sullivan, is a great mentor, the best I could ask for. He's taught me a lot. Um, yeah, he's just taught me a lot about not only food but life, and the whole cooking aspect is great.
I've walked past Vestal so many times, just walking around downtown. I always try and like peek in the door, see what people are ordering and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you describe some of the dishes that y'all serve and sort of what the vibe is in the restaurant?
I would say it's more of a people really think it's really upscale, and I think it's more of like a chill, like just come on maybe a special occasion. It's really good food. Maybe come on a special occasion and just celebrate. I mean, for me it's a place of like celebration. You know, I think it's more casual than people might present it to be, and at the end of the day, it's just people just trying to make good food. I mean, and share it with you guys. And I think that's the mission of Vestal. And I can't speak for them, but from what I can see, I think that's the mission.
Is Vestal somewhere that you see as like a final stop on your career, or do you see it as more of like a launching point for maybe something bigger that you want to do in the future?
So I like to think of I've worked at a few different restaurants. I like to think all of them as stepping stones. You know, you just kind of you take a few things from this, you take a few things from this, and you kind of build your own. You know, and it's good foundations. They teach you good foundations, and they're there to support you and help you move on, not only stay there. It's it's definitely a stepping stone. And I don't really know where I'll end up next. I do have some plans on possibly going to culinary school, and I'm excited for that.
Did you go to culinary school before?
So I have not yet gone to culinary school. The only things I know now are things that I've learned off of YouTube, which is humongous now. I mean, back when culinary school, when a lot of these chefs were going to culinary school, they didn't have the resources. You know, they had books, of course, but they didn't have all these YouTube videos and Netflix shows that you can learn from. Like you can actually learn things from those shows. And I think that's really kind of changing the perspective of culinary school for me. And culinary school's definitely I think it's useful in some situations and some circumstances, but it's ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously expensive.
Is that the reason that you haven't gone yet? Or are there some other things that maybe you don't see the value in?
I could definitely see the value in it. I think it's all what your end goal wants to be. If you want to work in one of these humongous kitchens where everybody there is like you have a real French brigade where you have a chef, sous chef, commis, things like that. I think you would need to go to culinary school just to say that you know the basics and that you can do the work. And I think that's most of it. But at the same time, this is a career path where you can learn on the job and you can save money doing that. And culinary school is quite pricey.
It's pretty incredible that you've made it this far in your career without any schooling, training. Like you are self-taught, essentially.
To extent, I do try, and this is a career where you have to kind of like you have to push yourself, and you have to if you want to learn, you're gonna have to reach out and learn. It's nobody's forcing you to do anything. It's on you. Where like sky's the limit, man. This is a career where you can quite literally never stop learning. There's so much knowledge in food. It's insane.
I kind of want to learn more about culinary school because I have no idea what that even looks like. What are you supposed to learn there? How does it actually propel your career forward? So, can you tell me a little bit about what the objective is and why people in your industry are going towards that?
I recently visited a culinary school in New York, Hyde Park, New York, to be exact. It's called the Culinary Institute of America. It's one of the best schools in the U.S. that you can go to, and they just teach you the fundamentals, you know. And they'll teach you your sauces, how to break down proteins, how to make bread, how to make beer, how to bake cakes. You know, it's really knowledgeable stuff, but at the same time you can learn this information on the job, and that's kind of my dilemma with culinary school. Is it worth paying the money to do something that I would more than likely probably start off where I'm at now once I'm out of school and be $100,000 in debt, you know? And that's kind of been the real challenge for me if I want to go. And it's like could I save this money and move to a big city and just work in the kitchens there, you know, and just keep learning on the job. Because any kitchen that you go to, even if you do go to culinary school, even if you do go to culinary school, it's not like a normal career where if you study to become an engineer, you're gonna hopefully be an engineer one day. If you go to culinary school, you're gonna start at the bottom. And that's just the way kitchens are. And personally, I love it because it's just when you get into the kitchen, you you usually start on they might have you start in dishes, they might have you start on garmo, but rarely will you be hired just as a sous chef or a chef. They want to see what you're made of. They want to see what experience you have and how you work. And I think that's the real challenge for me because I'm kind of already along with I'm kind of like already I guess started in the path that I would take to go to culinary school, and I would come out doing the same stuff, getting paid the same amount, and it's just like, is it worth it? You know?
It's pretty incredible that like our generation is sort of actually questioning these things and challenging these ideas. I can speak from my personal experience with videography. So I am a freelance videographer and I did not go to film school. I did not have any sort of formal training or
Yeah,
education in that sense. Really, what I've learned over the years is from on the job experience and researching
yeah,
things online, YouTube, reading articles, reading other people's stories about how they find gear and
yeah.
all the tricks and tips that they teach. So for our generation to really be questioning that sort of like traditional education for our industries, I think kind of says a lot about where we're at with that system.
I agree. I think it's absolutely insane. Like coming out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I always knew I loved to cook. It was, to be honest, it was a hobby of mine that kind of turned into a career choice. And it's scary, man, coming out of high school, and it's like you get presented with these colleges, and it's like, what do I want to do? I don't really know where I want to go. I don't know what direction in life I want to head. And you're just kind of faced with like, pick a career, you know, and it's intimidating, and it's scary, and it's like, how do you know if you really enjoy doing that before you go to school for it?
Do you have any dreams with
I
cooking?
I have so many dreams with cooking. Would you like to hear about them?
Yeah.
All right. So over these past few years of cooking, I've been to a lot of restaurants. And I think going to restaurants is very interesting, especially as somebody who likes to cook. And it's like you kind of see the small details that other people put into food and into their serving experience, and it's really interesting how different people do different things. And it's like you might kind of pick up on a few of those things. It's like, oh, I could do that too. Oh, I could do it this way. And you just kind of build a kind of a rough outline of, or mentally for me, like I built a rough outline of what I'd like my restaurant to be. And it's like you just kind of pick a little from each place, and it's like, okay, I really like this, I really like that, I really like a restaurant, like a destination restaurant. That seems cool, not too far away, but like kind of a driving distance, somewhere just to get away for a day, you know? Like even as a kid, like my mom would drive. This is crazy. We'd actually like drive to Mississippi for lunch. And that's how passionate I guess she was about food. Like she was just, if she saw a place she was interested in, she'd just make a day out of it. Like, let's go to Mississippi and go see what's up over there. Let's go eat. And so I kind of like the idea of a destination restaurant where it's kind of, this is a stretch. It's kind of maybe like on a farm somewhere, not farm to table, but on a farm. And I guess we could do farm to table, but have just different businesses to support our restaurant, and have like a bakery, a butcher shop, a bar, all kind of on this one property almost, where it's just like, just come spend a day with us, come see how we do things, maybe. And I really love teaching people how to cook. Like I think it's one of those things where it's like, if I can share something with you and you take something from it that you can use for the rest of your life, that's really important for me. And it's just like, just to elevate like the small things that you might already do as a home cook, and you can elevate those things. And it's not extremely hard stuff, nothing crazy, but it's like doing the little things that elevate your cooking and might possibly make your food taste a little better.
Thanks for sharing your dream with me. That's like really cool. I can almost like see it in my mind of kind of just this really unique and special experience.
I hope the dream comes true one day. I'm really trying. I'm really trying.
Have you ever thought about making videos that teach people how to cook? 'Cause I know there's a lot of that already out there,
There is so many.
but you can make it personable to you, and you can make it
Yeah.
unique because you have a different experience, you have a different mindset than all these other people making videos. Also, the fact that you're from South Louisiana, which is just like the most perfect place to make food and consume food. Like you could do it in a way that is unique. Have you ever thought about?
I've definitely given some thought into it. So the thing about that most people don't know, it takes so much time. It takes hours and hours and hours. And I recently did a little content shoot, and I was sitting there for 5, 6 hours just cooking, and it's like, to me it's almost, it's not natural. It's not, you can't make natural movements because it's like the camera's right here and it's like, okay, don't cut yourself, don't cut yourself, don't cut yourself. Okay, this is done. Let's pause for 10 minutes, make sure we got the shot. Okay, do another one. And it's just, it's really detailed, it's really intricate. And I think it's cool. I've never really, I wouldn't say the thought hasn't been in my mind. I've definitely thought about it. It's more time for me. I just don't think I have the time right now to do that. And again, so many people are doing it. And it's just like, have you read the comments underneath the videos?
Oh yeah,
They're brutal, man.
I read them all the time.
They're brutal. That's my favorite part of those videos, to be honest, is the comments. Because everybody has their own 2 cents that they put in it. It's a little intimidating doing something like that, like giving something that you know to the world, and they're like, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But I think what we don't understand is everybody's still learning, man. It's like nobody really knows what they're doing. They're just kind of out here doing it, which is interesting. I mean, just to be out there, that's pretty brave to post something on YouTube and share it with the world, and that people are gonna kind of maybe come after you.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those similar thoughts with my content because I've been running this YouTube channel for about 4 years now.
Gotcha.
And yeah, there's been ups and downs. There's been good comments, nasty comments. It's a lot to put yourself out there for criticism. I think for me, the mindset that I have is that if I can make something genuine that I really enjoy doing, like having a conversation, and then I can put it out and people can either be inspired or they can be educated or motivated to change something in their life. That's my main objective with the content that I make. So if for you that's cooking, it doesn't have to be this super professional, perfect kind of ad video. You could just get on TikTok and just talk to people and like share recipes, family recipes. I don't know. There's so many different options that you could take.
And that's the thing with cooking now. It's like before, it's like you go to culinary school and you want to be a chef, and that was really the only path, like cooking wise. And now there's so many different things. It's endless. I mean, it's you have content creators, you have these home cooks that do private dinners, and that's private chefs are a thing now, and that's just another branch that you can kind of go off and build your career off of. You don't have to work in these kitchens anymore to share the food that you like to make. And even pop-ups now, they have pop-ups. You can get a tent at the farmer's market. It's just, and if your goal is to share your food with the world, I mean, there's so many ways to do it now. And I find that extremely interesting and really cool. But back to what you were saying earlier, it's with the comments and everything. I feel like it's from that you just kind of you learn from it, and it's you take that, if you like it, you take it. If you don't like it, you just leave it alone and you ignore it. Like you adjust whatever.
Yeah, I definitely respond more quickly to feedback from people I actually know.
Yeah.
People on the internet can say whatever they want, and I'll just, take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes I'll just straight up ignore it. It's like,
it's not even worth the time.
You don't know me. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I'm about.
Nothing personal.
Yeah, I try not to. I've had to learn to not take things personal like that. Also, not taking the analytics personal either. Some videos get more views than others.
Yeah.
Some people respond differently to what you put out too. So it's all a learning experience, and the goal really is to improve over time. Just like I'm sure you were probably cooking Pop-Tarts a long time ago, and now you're making, what do you make at Vestal? I don't know, souffle.
Uh,
No, what did you say before this interview? It was like fat bomb
oh, these
something.
like fat wash tequila and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's even
Can you
a insane
imagine
thought.
trying to make that at like 5 years old or 10 years old?
That I wouldn't even know where to start, to be honest.
Well, thanks for sharing your dream with me. I really appreciate your time and teaching me about culinary school, teaching me about cooking. I really appreciate it.
Of course. It was nice talking with you, man.